A family says they're being unfairly targeted by San Antonio code enforcement officers.
Yeah, they've been repeatedly cited the past 2 years for not having concrete parking at their Westside 18-wheeler storage yard. This despite the city council approving zoning on this property more than a decade ago.
It's frustrating because the city, my parents and their attorney in 2011 had made an agreement with the city on how this land was going to be used.
San Antonio officials now contend they never agreed in writing to not allow paving.
A months-long probe by KSAT Investigates found the catalyst for this enforcement action. A letter written by a former city official who served time in federal prison for taking bribes. Dylan Collier investigates his ongoing relationship with the city.
Near the corner of Petranco and West Military, you'll find a strip of real estate used to store semi-trucks. Filiberto Gonzalez Jr.'s parents own the land. In 2011, City Council approved zoning that allows the elderly couple to live at the back of the property while continuing to store 18-wheelers as a commercial parking business in the front. But an arrangement that stowed tractor trailers, which might otherwise be parked along city streets, turned sour 2 years ago after code enforcement officers began to descend on the property. Development Services Director Michael Shannon explains what happened.
We responded to some information or call that there was a violation or potential violations there, and when we did, we checked the zoning and the certificate of occupancy, and that's a typical process when we get called out to a site.
But how did the city become aware of potential problems on a property with council-approved zoning? Turns out that is quite a tale. This January 2021 letter lays out several claims. One, that a certificate of occupancy was issued by the city in error, that its parking area was not paved, and that flood concerns presented a, quote, life safety issue. KSAT Investigates confirmed the author of that letter was none other than Fernando de Leon, as in former San Antonio Assistant Development Services Director Fernando de Leon, who was fired by the city in 2010 as federal authorities investigated his role in a 5-year-long bribery scheme. De Leon teamed up with an employee of a local engineering firm to create a hoax company, submitted fake invoices, and inflated the cost to expedite permits, splitting the proceeds. A federal indictment says De Leon at one point forged his sister's signature on a check from the fake company for a down payment on a Mercedes-Benz. He pleaded guilty to a flurry of charges, including conspiracy to commit wire fraud and mail fraud. In 2015, De Leon was sentenced to 14 months in federal prison in order to pay nearly $285,000 in restitution. His co-conspirator got 30 months in prison and was ordered to pay $315,000 in restitution. Now freed, De Leon goes by many titles, including code consultant and permit expediter. He spoke with us at the near West Side business he now operates about his past legal troubles.
It was a mistake. It was not done on purposely. You look at what happened in the city, and you're going to see a lot of stuff that, that was done. It was not done intentionally to do bad.
De Leon confirms he was hired to do background research on the Gonzalez property by this man, Michael Westheimer, listed as a partner on the website for Visenya, a mixed residential and business development that borders the Gonzalez family property.
Westheimer was the one that gave me and he said, do me a research. I did the research, gave it to him, and that was it.
Reached via telephone, Westheimer told KSAT De Leon's work was part of due diligence as the group was looking to buy the Gonzalez's land, eventually making multiple offers on the property as they believed early on Visenya needed to acquire it to help with drainage. Asked about the Gonzalez family, Westheimer told KSAT, quote, they thought they held the key to our development. They are nice people, but are unsophisticated. Gonzalez Jr. called Westheimer's comment upsetting, and that De Leon's letter has now been weaponized against his parents. Westheimer was adamant that he did not share the letter with the city and has no idea how Development Services got it. Neither he or anyone associated with Visenya has been implicated in any professional misconduct or charged with any crimes in connection with the Gonzalez family property.
It's apparent to all of us what's going on, that the city is being used to harass them.
Shannon denied the accusation.
Who brought that to DSD's attention?
I don't know. I'm not sure who's the who called it in. Or
he claimed Development Services followed its typical process after receiving information about possible violations that may have come in anonymously to the office of District 6 Councilwoman Melissa Cabello-Haverda. After KSAT Investigates pressed city officials about the source of the letter, we were told DSD does not know who provided it to the District 6 office. KSAT is not aware of any evidence demonstrating that Westheimer or Vicinha were behind the transmission of the letter to the city. Internal records obtained by KSAT show 2 months after the letter was written, Shannon labeled a meeting to discuss the Gonzalez property high importance, referencing the letter that had been sent to District 6. The property had gone before council for zoning approval in 2011 without concrete being poured in the parking area, after the owners determined it was too expensive and would constantly need repairs. But as recently as last summer, city officials wrote there is no agreement on record that waives the paving requirement. Gonzalez called the timing of the city's decision to suddenly enforce code violations at the property troubling after so many years of apparently turning a blind eye.
The problems began because my parents didn't want to sell to the developer.
KSAT Investigates found since getting out of prison, De Leon has emailed with city planning and development services employees in regards to permits on at least 74 projects located all over San Antonio, meeting city staff at job sites, and according to internal records, even communicating directly with Shannon and Public Works Director Razi Husseini. Both leaders defended the thousands of pages of written communication between staff and the ousted city executive, claiming the city does not discriminate against people with criminal backgrounds when issuing permits.
I think our interaction with Mr. De Leon is similar to how we handle any applicant, any customer, is to help facilitate through our process to be successful.
De Leon is not a city contractor, according to Husseini, but instead runs a private consulting business that helps clients navigate city permitting issues.
As long as we are not giving them a contract, anybody can apply as long as they meet the requirement.
Gonzalez says the whole situation stinks.
So in essence, what you have is a former city employee, right, who got caught, for taking bribes, and he gets out of prison. Now he's back. Now he can operate, but now he still has his friends on the inside. I'm not trying to accuse anyone of anything, but that's something that needs to be looked at.
We could find no record that De Leon or anyone affiliated with One Stop Code Consulting has been implicated in professional misconduct or charged with any crime since De Leon's release from prison. For KSAT Investigates, I'm Dylan Collier.
Keep up to date with all of San Antonio's top news, weather, and so much more by clicking the like and subscribe buttons below. And once again, thanks for watching KSAT.